Hopefully, everybody's having an amazing day today, right? First and foremost, let me start off by thanking my higher power for another day of sobriety. Today, I just want to share with you, a little situation I've been going through, right? Because I've been sober, right, for about 2 years, and my sobriety date is 12/26/2022, right? And we're gonna call these drives with Jose. My name is Jose. And I'm just gonna, I'm going on a little drive, and I'm gonna kind of talk about what I've been going through as a new father, right? I haven't had my oldest is 19, and right now I just had a baby. She's 2 months, right? And I'm 2 years in this recovery game, right? And I feel like sometimes, we feel like well, I feel, especially me, that I could take over the world. And I got 2 years sober. I'm fine. You know what I mean? Like I could recognize my triggers. I could recognize certain situations I shouldn't. I feel like I'm a little bit more emotionally aware of how I'm feeling and what I'm going through. And let me just tell you guys a story. What happened to me today, right? So uh, I've taken care of my daughter a couple times, especially like Mondays and Tuesdays. Those are my days off. So my wife goes to work and I stay at home, take care of the little one, right? And it's been good, you know. Uh, God has blessed me with an amazing daughter, healthy, beautiful, and she's not really fuzzy all the time. She lets us sleep most of the time. So uh, I guess I've been spoiled, right? But she does suffer from a little bit of colic. She's a little gassy once in a while, and I feel like today she was super gassy, and yeah, it was one of those days where it just keeps getting harder and harder and more difficult for me to kind of deal with her. And like as I'm having a hard moment, I start kind of losing control to the point where I kind of have to stop and recompose, get back into that composure. I apologize. Keep and start, thinking about my higher power in the program, right? Because a lot of us say that we believe in a higher power and that we allow our higher power to guide us, and whatever happens, uh, we go with the flow because that's part of recovery, correct? But I mean, sometimes you're trying to control situations, especially me. I was trying to control the situation. I'm like, what's wrong with this baby, man? Why is she being so fuzzy? I changed her diaper. I fed her, you know. I gave her some medication for her stomach. I'm trying to figure this out, and I have no control over the way she acts. And it's getting on my nerves to the point where, like, I'm losing my cool and my composure. Like, I'm actually getting to the point where I'm, like, in a way, kind of be like, you know what, I'm grateful for this. I have to return back to my gratitude, look at her sometimes because she probably slept for like 30 minutes. And then as soon as I lay her down, so I could start getting stuff done around the house, and just getting ready to go to my second job in the afternoons, even though it's my day off. I'm kind of getting stressed the fuck out. Like, I wanna yell at this baby and be like, "What the fuck's your issue, Celeste?" That's her name, by the way. But I know I try to keep my composure as much as I can, and trying to kind of like allow myself to be like, "Well, you got program, Jose. You're fine." And at first I'm like, "Well, she's not even like, I don't even feel like relapsing." And then that this idea comes into my head where it's like, "Fuck!" Like, now I understand why certain parents drink. You know, I'm just being honest with you guys. Uh, but yeah, it's just I'm sharing this with you because we need to normalize being a parent and being in recovery and understanding that there's days that are gonna be fucked up, and there's days we're gonna be like, what the fuck is this kid crying about? So I reach out to my wife, and I let her know how I'm feeling, and I was scared. In all sincerity, I was scared. I was like scared of her telling me like, you can't even take care of your daughter, like I stay with her most of the time, like you can't but my wife was actually able to be like, I've had these days. I mean, there's days she's fuzzy like this, and I realize, and this is God. Everything that's happening, you got to understand, this is my higher power. This is God putting me in a place, checking me to see how much recovery I have under my belt. Because sometimes Jose believes he fucking is cured, and he doesn't need AA, or he doesn't need to follow the 12 steps. He doesn't need to go to no fucking meeting. He doesn't need to be of service because, he's fucking cured. And and all of a sudden I'm just sitting there and realizing, shit, how could my wife do it? Like sometimes I get home and she's had the baby all day long, and there's food on the table. And I finally ask for help, and I tell her, you know what, I can't anymore. I'm too overwhelmed. Because I was trying to hang in there, and I was trying to be like, nah, I could do this, I could do this, you could do this, Jose. You don't need any type of help. But I knew that was gonna affect me mentally and emotionally. Like I was at my breaking point. It sucks actually admitting that I was truly in a breaking point, but I was. And I told her, I said, hey, I'm like in a breaking point. I'm about to lose it. You know, I need help. And she said, I'm on my way. And as soon as I feel like the baby was able to smell her mom, because she's still breastfeed. As soon as my wife parks at home, the baby's relaxed, and I'm holding my baby, and I'm looking at her and seeing how peaceful she is and beautiful she is, and I just can't believe something so small, right? Something so small, so beautiful, can't even talk, was about to break my spirit. And I feel like that's a reminder from God that, you know, it's not the big things that are gonna end up breaking us, right? It's the small things that are gonna get to us, and gonna lead us back into relapsing, right? Because we feel like we got it under control. Sometimes I feel like, yeah, man, my daughter's cool, my daughter's chill, but I forget she's human, and God's gonna test us in many ways, many forms. And today, God tested me with a 22, inch long baby that has these amazing eyes when you look at her, and she was about to destroy me, like literally destroy me, to the point where I was on my knees begging God for help because I didn't know what else to do. And that just made me realize how much I need this program, how much I need to be of service, and how much this program has helped me, because I was able to keep a certain like I was able to keep a certain composure, right? And not kind of lose it like I probably would have lost it 2 years ago. Was I proud of the way I handled it? Not really, but in the same time, I truly was kind of, and I think as parents sometimes we kind of need to understand that it's. So yeah, I got a call, right. Like I said, this is, sober talks with Jose as he drives to work. What I was trying to say was that I think we need to normalize being a parent, and kind of normalize that sometimes as parents we don't have stuff under control. You know, sometimes as parents we're stressed out with certain things in life, and we might snap on our children, and that's okay. You know, because sometimes what happens is like if my wife wouldn't have been there to support me, and I wouldn't have been part of a program, right? Like, you know, AA or NA, whatever 12-step program you prefer, I probably would have sat there and dwell on my feelings and been like, man, you're a fucking fucked up dad. Like, you couldn't handle your daughter today. Like, you kind of almost lost your cool. And that would have built a resentment towards maybe even my own daughter, towards me, towards my recovery. Like, what's the whole point of you being sober if you can't handle this? But you need to understand that being sober, you're not gonna be able to handle everything that comes to you. Sometimes you're gonna need help. Sometimes you're gonna have to deal with certain situations and outcomes that you don't approve of, or you didn't expect that was gonna turn out to go that way. Especially if you're going through recovery and you're a parent, especially if you have a newborn at home, especially if you're working the program and still working multiple jobs. Like, you need to understand to give yourself some time and love yourself, and not to be so judgmental and hard on yourself, because that's the issue that got me using all the time. I would beat myself down over any stupid mistake, because once Jose gets sober, he's very critical about his recovery. Sometimes I need to forget that I need to trust the process and trust God. You know, and it's funny how sometimes God works, especially during our recovery, where He's gonna humble us and He's gonna make us realize that we are not cured, right? That this disease is forever. And the only thing that helps me in my personal experience is my step work. So hopefully you guys have a great day, and thank you for allowing me to share this with you guys.